Hi everyone, this is Paul here from the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm going to be talking about the Mercury retrograde from the 12th of August to the 4th of September, which begins in the sign of Virgo and finishes in the sign of Leo. This particular retrograde is the last one that involves Mercury transiting through the Earth signs, and we'll not have another retrograde in the Earth signs with Mercury for another 5 to 6 years. So during this particular Mercury retrograde, the areas that we're looking at are first Virgo, and that takes up most of the retrograde, and then the tail end of it is Leo. So Virgo, being an earth sign, it deals with the practical daily reality. It deals with our physical and mental health, things like diet, exercise, anything like daily routines we have to take, the day-to-day practicalities of living, personal responsibilities, and also path of service. Now, with Mercury retrograde, there's certain pieces of advice that are always given out. It's worth remembering. During the retrograde, it's best not to make any major life-changing decisions, nor to necessarily undertake any brand new beginnings just yet. Reason for this is that during the Mercury retrograde, we're becoming aware of more information that we didn't see beforehand. Because when Mercury is direct, we can be very effective at accomplishing tasks that we set. We're very good at the linear rational logic, but at the same time we can end up with our nose to the grindstone and blinkers on, so we don't actually realise what is going on around us, and we don't realise there are other options to what we're doing, so there are other ways of doing it. So during Mercury direct, Mercury's focus can be classed as attention, so focused on the immediate task. During the retrograde, Mercury is about awareness, so this is relaxing down, powering down the need to attend to the grindstone constantly, and look at the information that is coming into through our other senses, because we also have the capacity to think holistically. It's not just linear logic that the mind deals with. We also have more complex and holistic ways of thinking and being, and this is the stuff that Mercury retrograde asks us to embrace and to enhance that ability if we haven't already done so. Because the more we can embrace the right side of the mind as well as the left and bring them together, the more effective we are, because we can see the big picture, so we understand the reason why we're accomplishing tasks, but we also have that focus and attention necessary to complete something. But during the Mercury retrograde, because new insights are coming in, or they're technically actually old insights that we've just ignored over the past few months whilst Mercury is direct, but these insights change the picture. They reveal truths which we weren't aware of before, and that will change the way that we perceive the situation in front of us. So that's part of the reason why it's so important not to make any key life-changing decisions during a Mercury retrograde, because new information is coming in which is changing the picture, and what you start during the Mercury retrograde may not come out completely different at the end, when information that we weren't aware of when we made the decision comes to light and changes the perspective and makes us question, was it the best decision to do what we did. So this is also time for re-evaluation. So with Virgo to begin with, and then from Leo from 31st of August, the main focus is going to be things like our physical health, our mental health, the practical daily routines that we do in order to keep things going. So this could be the meals that we make, it could be bills that we have to pay, but the practical day-to-day things that they may not be particularly glamorous to do, but we have to do them in order to keep things running and in order for our lives to maintain any degree of order. So during this retrograde, we may find ourselves wondering, how can we improve our diet? How can we become more efficient at accomplishing our day-to-day tasks so that it's less time consuming? Because part of the retrograde seriously Earth signs that Mercury does is it asks us to become more organised in the material base of life. Because the more organised we are, the more time we then free up for our spontaneous creative desires. So if there are ways that we need to restructure our daily routines in a way that liberates some of our time for our more creative pursuits and allows us to express ourselves better, then it's time to look into this. And this could be anything from the food that we eat, when, where and how we exercise. It could also cover our sleep patterns. So if we're not getting enough sleep, because sleep is vitally important for health, then maybe we need to take more time for a bit of TLC and make sure we are tending to our physical health and getting enough rest. Because physical health isn't just about exercise. The healing stage of anything takes place during the resting phase, not during the exercise itself, as well as the strengthening. So whenever we do any kind of intense exercise to build up muscles, the muscles aren't building up during the exercise itself, it's during the recovery periods after. So it may well be that if we are exercising and we're not spending enough time recovering, then we're not getting the best out of our fitness regime. So the more, yes, exercise is very important, but so is the rest part. So if we remember to relax a bit if we're going far too intense with our exercise, and give our body a chance to rest as well, then that in itself will boost our health. And a rested mind is more efficient anyway, so it's important during this time to look at our physical health, but avoid self-criticism as well, because mental health is also covered by Virgo. So we may also find ourselves having parts of ourselves that we haven't yet dealt with or that we don't particularly like reflected back to us. The key with Virgo is to do this with unconditional self-acceptance. Because the thing is, if we allow that inner critic to get any kind of hold, it quickly spirals into other forms of self-criticism, which, when you ask other people about the same thing, they'll make it pretty clear that we're the only ones actually thinking that about ourselves. Other people may well see us in a much higher light than we view ourselves, because we've given that inner critic a chance to mess with our heads and talk ourselves down. And that's also the time to look at what kind of work that we do, and also our path of service, because service is a key area of life. It tends to get shunned and looked down on as something not worthy, but service isn't necessarily about being subservient. It's the willingness to give of our time to help other people without necessarily an ulterior motive for getting recognition from other people. Because true selfless service doesn't involve martyrdom, but does involve giving our time, of our energy in a loving way, because we want to, and that empowers the other person. So it doesn't create any kind of dependency. We're not getting used ourselves by the other person, but the service is practical and makes a difference for the other person and can empower them going forwards. This is what service ideally should be about. It's not about being subservient or doing something that's going to create a dependency on another person. It's selflessly giving in a practical way that's going to help the other person and ideally empower them going forward, so they can then take charge of their own lives better. Because Virgo is about the practical day-to-day parts of reality, and if we don't take responsibility for these, then we're not going to have enough time to focus on creativity, because so much of our energy will be focused on trying to just maintain basic order in our lives that we don't have time for those creative pursuits. But if it's around about the 25th of August, we'll have the Sun Mercury conjunction. This is the point where a seed of a new beginning is planted, that we won't see the fruits of it or how it's going to manifest until after the retrograde itself completes, because we're still getting new insights coming through. But this particular conjunction takes place in Virgo, so we are talking about new beginnings in the Virgo aspects of our life. So it may well be a new beginning in terms of our physical health, our mental health. It could be a new form of service that we give to other people that feels more aligned with who we are, because the kind we've been doing so far doesn't feel right for us anymore. Or it could be a new line of work that we need to prepare ourselves for. But as I said at the start, it's best not to make any key decisions or long-term choices during the retrograde, because more information is coming to us to become aware of the big picture, and it's important that we don't act prematurely. However, that being said, if there are any existing contracts that we may have that are due for renewal, Mercury retrograde can be a good time to reevaluate them and renegotiate them to get a better deal based on new information along the lines of the particular contracts in mind. So this is something to bear in mind. So existing contracts are fine, it's new ones that we need to avoid doing if possible, just because we don't know all the information yet, and we may not be getting the best outcome for what we need if we make rash decisions without taking time to see what other information is out there that sheds light on the big picture of the situation and not just small details of it. Now, on the 31st of August, Mercury moves backwards into Leo, and next year around this time the Mercury retrograde will be entirely within the sign of Leo. Now, Leo is about creativity, it's about that self-expression. So Mercury retrograde in Leo is a time to try and focus on our creative potentials, and also recognise that sometimes we have to learn to become more creative with our lives in order to get what we want. If we just stick with rigid thought patterns or rigid beliefs of how things manifest, then certain things are unlikely to happen. It's also a time to take a bit of time to one side, relax, and see what creative ideas we have. And also take a look at our impression of what play is about. Because the way society runs, we see play tends to get very denigrated, and kids are not given the chance to get the sort of playtime that they used to, where they're actually interacting with one another. Now there's far too much through screens, so we need to readdress our attitude towards play, because psychologists have found that play is actually a vitally important part of being human, because play is almost like a form of creative problem solving where there isn't a situation that has a risk or has any possible downside to it. So it's just doing something for the sake of it with no ulterior purpose. But by learning to play and embrace our imagination, we can troubleshoot situations before we ever have to deal with a place where there is a risk of failure. This is one of the beauties of play that many of us, either we don't realise or we've just never been told it, but it's part of the play is a key part of developing social skills as well. It's interacting with other people, it's embracing our imagination, which is one of the most powerful gifts we ever have. It's through imagination that new solutions come through, not through sticking to rigid processes from the past. Imagination is key for new solutions to old problems to occur, and by embracing play we can troubleshoot these ideas with other people without worrying about the consequences of it, because it's not a serious endeavour at all. We're just playing about, we're embracing our creative ideas, firing them off amongst people and playing out the situations in a playful way that allows us to see whether our ideas have the potential to work, but there's no pressure to perform because there's no ulterior purpose behind it. We're just seeing what our creative energies are like, embracing them, and then having a bit of fun with it. Because at the end of the day, the way I'm told life should be as an adult can be very serious and dull and a bit grey. Yet there's so much more to life when we embrace play without worrying about how other people perceive us. Because the more playful we can be, the more fun and joy we can have in life, the more easily we can connect with other people, because it's not about judgment or being a certain way or matching with the status quo. It's about having a laugh with the people we care about and just being playful and enjoying life. We don't have to have a reason to experience joy, to experience emotional warmth for one another, to show each other generosity and mercy. These are all things that we all have the potential to do. We all have that divine creative force within us. It's not a select few who have it, it's just certain people who've had the courage to stay in touch with it and to continue to express it when some of us have decided just to abandon it and not continue. So this is what the final 4 or 5 days of the Mercury retrograde will be about. It's starting to reevaluate our attitude towards play, and if we have shunned it in our lives for whatever reason, it's time to embrace it. So there's a lot to take on board for the Mercury retrograde, but in a nutshell, the first part is about our physical health, our physical and mental well-being, our daily routines, our work and path of service, and the last 5 days of it are about getting in touch with that inner child within us, having the courage to express our creativity, show emotional warmth, and just embrace play again if we've allowed it to die in our lives and not kept it up. So this is the Mercury retrograde for you. May it bring many new insights that will allow you to become a more authentic version of yourself and a more happy version. May it bring you many blessings. Take care.